भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवतसेवया भगवती उत्तमा श्लोके भक्तिर्भवती नैष्टिकी। ॐ अज्ञानातिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च रूपं साग्रजातं सहगना रघुनाथं वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपदान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितंश्च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधाकान्त नमस्ते। तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णविष्णुपते प्रभुपदप्रिय श्री गिरिराजाय स्वामिने सुभक्तराधरास बिहारी भक्तिवेशात्मदाय। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णविष्णुपते श्री वेदांत स्वामी। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यादेशतारिणे मुखं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरु दीनतारिणं। हरे कृष्ण। So we are reading Srimad Bhagavatam Canto 5, Chapter 19 and Text 9, Island of Jambudvip. So this is the last section. So this is about Bharatvarsh, where we are living. You know, I saw one satellite picture of Bharatvarsh, you know, the entire, it's so ugly, you know. It is a tract of land, right? Very ugly. It's like we have messed up Mother Earth, I'm sure one time it was all green. Now it's all black, 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 black. I guess with all these cars, right? Pollution, industries. Entire earth looks so ugly. Hmm? So even when you're flying in airplane, right? When you look down, very ugly, not at all a scenic view. But glories of Bharatvarsh is going to be discussed here in this dirty place. And what's going on? That's text 19. Text 9. भारतेऽपि वर्षे भगवान् नर नारायणाख्य कल्पलतम् उपाचचिता धर्म ज्ञान वैराग्यैश्वर्योपाशमोपरमात्मोपलम्भनम् अनुग्रहायात्मवताम् अनुकम्पया तपो व्यक्तगतिश्चरति. Shukdev Goswami said, continued. So he's been speaking since a long time, right? How many verse? 9 verse. So it is the 9th verse. So he continued, so therefore it's in brackets. The glories of the Supreme Person Godhead are inconceivable. He has appeared in the form of Nar Narayan in the land of Bharatvarsh, at the place known as Badarika Ashram, to favor his devotees by teaching them religion, knowledge, renunciation, spiritual power, sense control, and freedom from false ego. He is advanced in the opulence of spiritual assets, and he engages in executing austerity until the end of this millennium. This is the process of self-realization. Now, everybody knows where's Badrika Ashram. Where is it? Yeah, it's in Uttarakhand. And we say, this is like a station from, this Uttarakhand is a station from Uttar Kuru, right? Right? Uttar Kuru, and so you find a station. Like we say that all the Varshas, right? You will find one embassy in Bharatvarsh. All of them. So far, whatever we've read, right? We could identify all of them. So they're connected, meaning there is an invisible connection between, like, Lord Brahma, Brahmapuri, right? Brahmapuri, we've got his place, Pushkar, I don't know, some places, right? So it's connected, invisible. So because it's one universe only, so they're not independent. Whatever exists, none of these places are independent, interconnected, but we are not able to see it. So Badarika Ashram. People in India may visit the temple of Nar Narayan at Badarika Ashram just to learn how the Supreme Person Godhead in his incarnation as Nar Narayan engages in austerities to teach the people of the world how to achieve self-realization. So this Badrika Ashram was very much prominent when? Satyug, right? Now you count. How many of you have been to Badrika Ashram? You went? You went, Devahuti? Did you go? I didn't go, right? Huh? You went, huh? No, no way. I'm going now. Now I'm going. Yeah, and then we'll go on YouTube and find it. So a vision, right? Vision also will be there, and we'll sit nicely, right? Yeah, so we are going now through the years. So, just to learn how the Supreme Person Godhead in his incarnation as Nar Narayan, engages in austerities to teach the people of the world how to achieve self-realization, tapasya. Now, Prabhupada says, it is impossible to realize oneself simply by absorbing oneself in speculation and material activities. So people do two things usually. Either they work hard to acquire wealth, or they sit and they read books, right? They read books, they speculate, and they write books. This is usually what people do. You write articles, books, now they write blogs, right? They're speculating, and pull us, we want to get something, we type AI, this information, we pull what they're writing, all nonsense, right? So we are helping them in their, speculation. And you don't know what they're getting, right? Somehow this beautiful, it was very attractive to me, this Krishna. Once Krishna story serial is there, no? Krishna story. So poor me, I watched one whole, it was so nice. After some time, I started thinking, but something is missing here. Then I watched the second one, and I say, but whoever made the picture, I mean, it's very charming. It's very charming. So then I started thinking that actually this film producer doesn't have no idea at all what Golok Vrindavan looks like. Therefore, he's taken one sample of me, you, and my one child, and plonk them in one huge house. So, because we know what Golok Vrindavan looks like, and this is a modern time, Bombay must be a Bombay wala, right? Whoever did the serial, because that's their conception of what is a home, right? So they put such a dialogue, very attractive dialogue. Then I think, oh my God, I hope it's not speculation. Then I listen to the next one. I say, this is straight out of Bombay's life, Then I closed it and I say, no more watching. Though it was very attractive, you'd like to hear Krishna speak, right? You'd like to hear Mother Yashu. Bhav is very beautiful, but philosophy, questionable, and environment, 100% Bombay houses. So what's the use, right? So to know Krishna and to know, I guess they can't get so many actors also. How many people you're going to engage? Because you need billions. Golok is Lakshmi Sahasra, right? Where will you find so many beautiful girls? You have to pay them, right? To be part of your movie. Then I thought, better our stage program is better. It's small, right? We can fit in, 10, 15. It looks, very much filled up. Right? You put them in big, mahal. There are 3 people. And oh my God, it was such a speculation. They put Purnamasi, Purnamasi, they put her an old lady, carrying a stick, and I said, Purnamasi, she's a gopi. Right? She's not a yogi, she's a gopi. And she's in white. She's like an elderly gopi. It's completely in white. So they don't understand, they don't know. But yeah, because in Golok, those, yes. So they may seem more older than the others.
But then they stand there forever. They don't go older than that.
Yeah, they look, ever fresh. They're young actually. How are they going to describe all this, depict all this, right? Like Lord Brahma, how they depict Lord Brahma, they put, an all white. He's the oldest, right? And our Lord Brahma in all our books, very young, right? Beautiful and very young.
But he gets old, 100 years.
He doesn't, there's no old age in Brahmalok. There's no old age in the yes. There's no old age. He dies when the time comes. There's no old age. There's no disease. There's no old age. Only he gets born on the lotus flower of Lord Vishnu's navel and he dies. But when he dies, two destination. Either if he becomes a devotee of Krishna, he comes out, he goes to Vaikuntha, or he goes in the navel of Lord Vishnu again. He goes to sleep and then next creation he comes out again in the lotus. Anyway, what to do? We are looking for Krishna everywhere. So difficult to find him, right? So difficult to find him. Any glimpse we get of him, we're trying to catch. We want to know what is Golok Vrindavan, right? So here, so Prabhupada explaining, it is impossible to realize oneself simply by absorbing oneself in speculation in material activities. We are on chapter 19, text 9. Yeah.
Text 9.
Now how we are going to find Krishna, Prabhupada is explaining here. One must be very serious about self-realization and the practice of austerity. So again and again we are bringing this point. Prabhupada really speaks about it. Not that I wear Kantimala and I change my name, right? I may remain a demon, all right? Putting Kantimala and taking a bead bag, putting tilaka, looking like a devotee, you're actually demon, demoness. And you do demoniac activities also, right? So, I'm sorry because people are doing this type of work, so that's why I'm speaking about it. So, one must be very serious about self-realization and the practice of austerity. Unfortunately, the people of this age of Kali do not even know the meaning of austerity, right? Do not even know the meaning of austerity. Under these circumstances, the Lord has appeared as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to bestow upon the fallen soul the easiest method of self-realization, technically called Cheto Darpanam Marjanam, cleansing of the dirt from the core of one's heart. So, to go up to Himalayas to reach Badrika Ashram, only one of us have gone. Did you go to Badrika Ashram? No? Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Huh? So 1 out of 7 has gone. 6 of 7 didn't go, right? Who will do such austerity? Right? Who will want to do such austerity? Ice, walking, danger, you look, you can fall, right?
It was so cold. I could feel buckets and tub and then shivering and it was so cold. Which one? Maybe 6 months or 6 months.
Yeah. So to take a cold bath, we get sick from it, and instead of dipping ourselves, you know what the yogis do, no? When it's cold, they sit in the water, right, to practice that they are not this body, right? And when it is summer, they light fire around them. Here, Prabhupada is saying that for us, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given us, the fallen souls of Kali Yuga, has given a very easy method of self-realization. So that method of self-realization technically is called Cheto Darpanam Marjanam. What is the meaning of Cheto Darpanam Marjanam? Yeah, this Chitta, right? Chitta. Yes, Darpanam. So there is a mirror which is covered with so many dust. What type of dust? What is? Yeah, the 6 ripus, right? So they're covered with all this. to bestow upon the fallen soul the easiest method of self-realization, technically called Chetodarpana Marjanam, cleansing of the dirt from the core of one's heart. So this method is extremely simple. So instead of going dipping in the Himalaya in Ganges in the Himalayas, right, doing so many things to even get there, climbing up, etc., etc. If you don't die in between, right? So chant Hare Krishna. The easiest method, chant Hare Krishna. And even that we are not able to do, right? Durdevam, right? Durdevam, yes. We are so unfortunate that even after we take the vow to chant the rounds, and we take the vow not to commit the 10 offenses, even then we commit the 10 offenses and automatically we are not able to chant, right? Desire to chant cannot come. So this method is extremely simple. Anyone can chant the glorious Krishna Sankirtan, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. In this age, there are different forms of so-called advanced scientific knowledge. So now Prabhupada is saying, in Kali Yuga, people say, is it scientific? Just like I heard this one person, so many of these astrological page are coming, keep on popping up. So this one person, he has to speak that language. According to astrology, and even scientifically, it is like this. And he's a medical doctor, all right? So he has to back up everything that he's teaching by saying that, and according to science also, it's like this. Like that Vastu, always such a mystery to me, that Vastu. So I Google it up, so now they start talking. Such a simple, logical science, all right? Common sense, right? So Prabhupada is saying here, in this age, there are different forms of so-called advanced scientific knowledge. Advanced scientific knowledge. What are they? Anthropology, Marxism, Freudianism, nationalism, and industrialization. Industrialism. I just said, what industrial has done to the planet Earth, right? What industrialization? This is a philosophy. It's a science. It's scientific knowledge. So the more you advance in knowledge, so the more you produce this, and you produce industries, and you take everybody to make them work in the industries, and what's the outcome? Kalyanag, vapor, right? Pollution everywhere. But if we work very hard under their guidance, instead of adopting the process practiced by Narayan, we shall waste our valuable human form of life. Thus, we shall certainly be cheated and misled. I just saw one video, I don't know where in the world. See, we read in Bhagavad Gita also that this material world and this earth is being maintained how? By the struggle of all living entities to exploit the resources of material nature, right? This is what they are doing. So we are showing this place, I don't know where it is, so an ocean, it's an ocean. So the miners, they got to know that there is silver. Now remember the story of Hiranyaksha, right? Hiranyakashipu, Hiranyaksha. So what he was doing, he was digging the gold, right? He was digging the gold underneath the earth. Actually, that gold is placed there. Why? Yes, to balance, all right? To balance the globe. But Hiranyaksha has done so much mining, right? he took out the gold, and of course he became all golden. His helmet was golden, everything about him. Hiranyaksha, right? Everything is gold miners. So the earth got unbalanced, right, and fell into Garbhodaksh ocean, right? So now, lucky, so Krishna, remember, everybody wants to go and take, but Krishna is the guardian, right? Krishna, they think that the world, the earth is meant for me to exploit. So I just saw that short clip. So it said that how, so they went inside the ocean, can you imagine? They set up an entire industry, because this is industry, because they have discovered that there is silver in such a place. So they dug out. Now, see what? This is in the ocean, okay? So meaning that all the entire ocean is against them. Can you imagine what they did? They were pumping out the ocean water. I mean, what crazy industrialist. So lusty to acquire this Chandni, right? So lusty. Whereas, whatever is easily available for your use, right? Krishna is already giving, right? We read earlier, it's just on the surface. It's on the surface. So very nicely you can just collect your gold, your silver, all the precious stones, your cloth, your eatables, everything, provided that we are what? Yeah. What we said that? Anad bhavanti bhutani. Then we have to do this yagya, right? We have to do yagya. If we do yagya, meaning that we are following the regulatory principles, we are worshipping Vishnu, automatically everything comes on the surface. We don't have to go inside the ocean, right? We try to steal by force.
So this oil drilling and all that also happens in the ocean.
Yeah. So what they do now, so they were pumping out the ocean, so that they can go inside. And then it says, but the laws of nature took over and completely covered everything back. So everything went submerged. So he was showing that place where they have made that, the drilling, yeah. So it was very much drilling, but everything was, covered. Everything was covered. I don't know, I can't remember. Too many YouTube I'm seeing. They pop up, but it's interesting, right? How we are exploiting this Mother Earth. And Mother Earth is laughing. In 12th canto, please read ahead. In 12th canto, Mother Earth will laugh and laugh and laugh at all those heroes who try to exploit her and go away. Right? And Mother Earth remains, but you get out. Right? So Prabhupada is saying that you do all this stuff, you work very hard. They tell you do this, and as donkeys we say yes. They say move here, we move here. They say move here, we move here. Are we not doing this? Right? Whatever advice we are given by the marketing teams of the industry, it's all linked, right? What the capitalists want, what the companies want, and what they have to teach in schools, they're all linked. From school, they put you in they put you in the companies, right? Your job is already fixed, right? So-called fixed, until they don't need you, then they throw you out, right? So it's all one chain. So Prabhupada is saying that we work very hard under their guidance, right? Instead of adopting the process practiced by Nar Narayan. So what do? We shall waste our valuable human form of life. Thus we shall certainly be cheated and misled. Meaning that Nara means human. So Nar Narayan, they are the perfect example of human beings. So if you have become a human being in Bharat Varsh, you have a purpose to fulfill.
You have a purpose?
To fulfill. Text 10. Tam Bhagavan Narado Varnashramavatirbharati Prajabhir Bhagavat Proktabhyam Sankhya Yogabhyam Bhagavat Anubhavo Pavarnam Savarne Upadekshamana Param Bhakti Bhavenopasarati Idam Chabhigrinati. In his own book known as Narad Pancharatra, Bhagavan Narad has very vividly described how to work to achieve the ultimate goal of life, devotion through knowledge and through execution of the mystic yoga system. So Narad Pancharatra, this is what we are using, right? Narad Pancharatra in our deity worship we use to take Diksha, right? We are all taking Diksha according to this Narad Pancharatra. He has also described the glories of the Lord, the Supreme Person Godhead, the great sage Narada. The great sage Narada instructed the tenets of this transcendental literature to Savarni Manu in order to teach those inhabitants of Bharatvarsh who strictly follow the principles of Varnashram Dharma how to achieve the devotional service of the Lord. Thus Narad Muni, along with the other inhabitants of Bharatvarsh, always engages in the service of Nar Narayana, and he chants as follows. So here's the famous verse from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. Purport. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has clearly declared, Bharata bhumite haila manusya janmayat janma sarthakari kara para upakar. The real success or fulfillment of the mission of human life can be achieved in India, Bharatvarsh, because in Bharatvarsh, the purpose of life and the method for achieving success are evident. People should take advantage of the opportunity afforded by Bharatvarsh, and this is especially so for those who are following the principles of Varnashram Dharma. So Prabhupada is taking this Bharat Bhumite, Bhumi, right? Bharat Bhumi. So we have understood that Bharatvarsh is the entire section, right? It's not what we call India today, but Prabhupada has put India, right? Why? Any guess?
What Prabhupada?
Prabhupada wrote India.
Because even in Bharatvarsh or Bharatkhand,
Yes.
land Bharat.
Yes. And oh God, I can't remember where I read it. So it described very clearly the ranges, the mountain ranges, and what do they do? It's where yajna is performed, right? So this Prabhupada is translating as India because it's Bharat Khand. See, whenever we have any abhishek or the pujaris, yes, they have to situate, even in your own home if you have to do, right?
They say where your house is,
Yes.
which side it is, north, south.
Yes, and they say Bharat Khand, right? So this Bharat Khand meaning is where the system of what? Yagya and
Varnashram.
Varanashram. Who are those who perform yagya? The followers of
Varnashram.
Varnashram Dharma. Alright. So Prabhupada somewhere else, he said that today this Varnashram Dharma is known as Hindu. But this is not, there's no mention of Hindu. It is Varnashram Dharma. Even Sanatan Dharma is different from Varnashram Dharma. Right? We should be able to make the difference between Sanatan Dharma and Varnashram Dharma. Yeah. Yeah, your occupational duty when you are in conditioned state. Right? Sanatan means when in your original spiritual status. So, if we do not take to the principles of Varnashram Dharma by accepting the four social orders, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra, and the four orders of spiritual life, Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanapras and Sannyas, there can be no question of success in life. Alright, see, we are looking for success in life. Everybody, right, they say, I want to be successful. Everybody's children, you want your children to succeed. Right? What success? What success do you want them to achieve? I have forwarded on one group one video by Bhakti Vikas Swami. He's speaking about how the complete fall down of the Brahmin class in Tamil Nadu, systematic demolition of this the temple culture. He's describing the whole. And I used to hear bits and pieces. Actually, Maharaj, he has made one book. He had made so many interviews, about lifestyle in India. He's very he's a historian in many ways. Right? So he explained how in the 1960s, in between that time period, one class of demoniac people came up and they attacked the Brahmin class. So what they did, they didn't go the way others were doing and kill the Brahmin. They didn't do that. You know what they did? They converted the people into atheism. They are demoniac brain, right? They have good brain, right? Miscreants, Duskritina. Kriti means meritorious. Dus means you use your...
Made it for the wrong purpose.
Yeah, your Kriti, Duskriti, right? So, Maya Pahrita Jnana. So, they use their brain. They succeeded. They completely wiped out the faith of the people in temple. So the temples became empty. Remember how Hiranyakashipu, Kamsa, right? He said that if we will kill the inhabitants, the devotees of Vishnu, then Vishnu will die, right? So they killed the common people, right? The faith. People stopped going to the temples. And automatically, the Brahmin was starving. Because if you don't come and donate in the temple, neither the deity worship will happen, nor the Brahmins will survive, right? So what happened? The Brahmin left the temple because, after one generation, second, because they became beggars, right? They were harassing the few people, tourists, whoever come, they were harassing, give money. That's what has happened everywhere. Actually, how the Brahmin became beggars, right? So they say we don't want to become beggars. They went to university, all right? They went to university and they became that. Then also, because there is scheduled class and Brahmin automatically opted out, right? You're pushed out, so you can't even get into the schools. So what did they do? They went to US. They joined Google. All right? They became the hardware, software. Software must be software. Hardware, they won't do this type of work. Software engineering. They made America become superpower. Brahmin, brain coding. They enter the corporate world. Hmm? I don't know why I'm talking about all this. I forgot why am I. Oh, yeah, this Brahmin class. Yeah, I'm speaking about this social order. If we do not take to the principle of Varnashram Dharma by accepting the four social orders, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra. All right. Then, so when the Brahmanas died, hmm, automatically the entire country dies. Everybody gets ruled by Vaishyas and Shudras, right? And they look upon each other how to make money from you, how to make you work to get money out from you. Hmm? And therefore, there is no dharma. So here Prabhupada is explaining that if we do not take to the principles of Varnashram Dharma by accepting the four social orders and the four orders spiritual life, meaning that there has to be stages in one's life. Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanaprastha and Sannyas. So meaning mind and sense control. So this child who's 5 years old, he is not exposed to sex scenes, right? We know what happened to Ajamil, right? A young boy, he was married, a young boy. He saw a cinema scene, right? He fell down, right? So this brahmacharya is extremely important. And I heard Prabhupada speaking of Grihastha ashram also. Grihastha ashram, Prabhupada says basic, because your aim is self-realization. And whatever comes by destiny, if you are to be born a multi-billionaire, automatically you will be born multi-billionaire as a grihastha, right? And if you are to be born as a farmer, you'll be born as a farmer and you will do farming and you will live, but you will have dharma. You will do your own dharma and you will achieve success in life. There's no competition. So there can be, so without this, there can be no question. Okay, now I remember why. No question of success in life. Because I was speaking about how the Brahmin now think that when you go and work, in here and there, you get a highly paid job. That's success in life, right? So see, programming one's in mind, and then therefore you capture the intelligence also. So Maharaj is explaining that now there is a revival among the Brahmin. They are again going back. And most probably because of the preaching of ISKCON also. I mean, like Chowpatty Temple, the Brahmin boys, right? South Indian Brahmin boys, right? Brahmin boys, they found the philosophy without hesitation. Without hesitation, they give up their corporate jobs and they become brahmacharis, and some are becoming sannyasis also. See the revival. So Maharaj is explaining that, so some boys, they suddenly say, no, we are going back to our ancestral work. At the age of 27, they give up a corporate job and they say, no, we will take care of the temple. We will preach because they're intelligent, right? We will preach. We will revive, right? And their family members say, what? You are leaving up such a promising career to become pujari in the temple? All right? How did you get?
Because that's been, I mean, it's going on for a long time. ना किसी को कुछ नहीं हुआ तो मंदिर चले जाओ, पूजा पाठ करो तो कुछ खाना मिल जाएगा. So that's it.
No,
You
no,
can't do
meaning,
anything.
I'm saying,
That's how it's
I'm speaking, I mean the pujari, right? What you are doing, you're leaving your corporate job to go and worship the deities, bring back, right? Bring back the temple. And so when you have standard, so Maharaj is explaining how the temples became filthy, right? Those temples became dilapidated, filthy, overcome, by rats, bats, everything. So now these young boys, they are again going back and taking their temples, and their family members have become brainwashed, programmed, right, to believe that success, right? Success in life is a corporate job. Anyway, so there is I heard, 10,000 years of Satyuga, golden age, right? So it's a revival. But after that, again in the ditch. So catch the boat while it is at your shore. All right? Yeah, and don't commit Vaishnava Parad. Unfortunately, because of the influence of Kali Yuga, everything is now being lost. Okay, so Prabhupada is saying what I just described. Prabhupada said in one life I spent half an hour describing what Bhakti Vikas Swami described. In one line, right? If you just read this line, you won't understand. I gave you full graphic story, right? Oh my God. Unfortunately, because of the influence of Kali Yuga, everything is now being lost. The inhabitants of Bharatvarsh are gradually becoming degraded Malechas and Yavana. Without hesitation, they go and they serve Malechas and Yavana just for food. Right? How then will they teach others? Therefore, this Krishna consciousness movement has been started, not only for the inhabitants of Bharatvarsh, but for all the people of the world, as announced by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. There's still time. Prabhupada is saying there's still time. Meaning it's not all lost. And if the inhabitants of Bharatvarsh take this movement of Krishna consciousness seriously, the entire world will be saved from gliding down to a hellish condition. The Krishna consciousness movement follows the process of Pancharatrika Vidhi and that of Bhagavad Vidhi simultaneously, so that people can take advantage of the movement and make their lives successful. So the initiation, the Diksha, the deity worship, this is which Vidhi? Pancharatrika Vidhi. And what is Bhagavad Vidhi? Our study of Bhagavatam, right? Yes. Our study of Bhagavatam, our recitation of Bhagavatam, our preaching of Bhagavatam, right? This is all Bhagavad Vidhi. In Pancharatrika Vidhi, there is Archanam, right? Parikrama, all this is Archana Vidhi, right? Yes. So, Bhagavad Vidhi meaning you study, threadbare, Prabhupada said, threadbare, study this Bhagavatam. Discuss it. I hope all of you have a group. Do you have a group to study Bhagavatam, to discuss Bhagavatam? So, you are born in Bharatvarsh? Are you born in Bharatvarsh? No? Are we only going to sit and listen, or are you going to also at home? Or you have a group?
No, I don't have a group, but I have two friends. They are from they are not ISKCONites, but they are reading, and we have one, her name is Sudha.
See, I'm just asking, do you have 5 people?
No, I have 3.
So,
Myself and 2
so Mahaprabhu has said 5 people is a group.
about 5.
Alright? 5 people is a group.
But Mataji, to come to the level of
Bhagavad Gita, Shishopanishad, you start studying these books, all the small books. Alright? Confirm. So we read the verse again. Bharata bhumite haila manusha janma yar janma sarthaka kari kara para upakar. Alright? So it is, if we are born in Bharat Varsh, then, the whole world, wherever Krishna consciousness now, we're just hearing Prabhupada is saying that, this is not only for this Bharat called India, it is for the entire world, right? And Jayapataka Maharaj has made the most wonderful system, that Bhakti Vriksha program, alright? I will send again, this link from Kunteya Prabhu. He explained the principle of Bhakti Vriksha. He explained, go door to door. Alright? Mahaprabhu's Sankirtan movement is go door to door, sit one to one, talk, make the person interested. Whether it takes you 6 months or it takes you 1 year. Alright? Then, in your own society, why are you crying, your students? Simple method to do it. Go door to door. Make friends with your own neighbors. 5 people you can't collect. Out of buildings, how many are staying in your buildings? 1,000? Few hundred? 50 people? In your buildings, how many people? 25? Families? Only 4 families in one building. And the neighbor? It's only one building in your area. Yeah, so the building next door, right? Your neighbor, Parosi. Alright? Not only your own building, right? Parosi. Right? This is what Mahaprabhu is saying. And this Bhakti Vriksha, it's not the way we are doing. We are advertising, pulling people from everywhere. Today they come, tomorrow they don't come, right? What it is a home program, right? Go door to door, make friends. I will send it again. Kunteya Prabhu. Make friends. And when they are interested, see, there are many ways to make friends. Prashadam. This is Indian society, right? You never go to anybody's house without some prashad, right? Anybody comes to your house, immediately, Prabhupada just heard, before there used to be sumptuous feeding. As soon as somebody step in your house, immediately the family will be in the kitchen, sumptuous feeding. Vedic hospitality, right? All the farsan and the sweet were kept for that, right? Then this is exchange of love, Priti Lakshana. All of us know this, Priti Lakshana, 6 exchanges of love. Then exchange of love meaning we discuss, right? Right, all my verses have gone out of my memory card. All right, this is, datati pradigrinati bhunte bhunjete chaiva, right? Then what? The first one, revealing one's mind and talking, what one is it? Guhyam akhyati prichati. Guhyam. Alright, I'll tell you how I used to preach. I'll tell you one simple thing, I went door to door for 10 years. Alright? Door to door. And when I left Mauritius, I came to India. All these people, they came to the temple. I didn't realize what I was doing. They got accustomed to my visit. And when I stop, and after 10 years, I say, I've done, what they want to take, let them take. I have done sufficient. Like I felt I have completed. I didn't feel that I was just leaving something behind. I said, whatever I could do, I have done, because every month, without fail, I'll be at their doorstep. All right? With books. Books. Sometimes they were life members. If they're life members, they will give some donation. And we had some gift, some items, maybe incense or something, some picture they will buy. Remember what it is, this Gurukul system. It is begging door to door. So we had another system. Prabhupada introduced another system. When you're going door to door, you're distributing books, because we were temple devotees, right? How will you sustain the temple? You go door to door, you distribute the books, you get that donation. That's how the temple is maintained. That's how we are maintained, by going door to door. All right? So I left. Everybody came in the temple. They are running the temple now. And they expanded. They expanded. Now they don't even know who I am. They don't know me, but the old, they know. The old, they know. And believe me, I don't believe it myself. Sometimes here, people come looking for me. I have forgotten them. They didn't forget me. They came and said, you were coming to me. You were, one time, you won't believe it. I was in the temple. Every month or 3 months, I used to go to one shop. I used to gather advertisement for our newspaper. They were like Tamil people, and this lady never showed much interest. They think, okay, these people, maybe they're beggars or whatever, So she never showed much interest. But the husband will give, the advertisement, 300 or 500 rupees. That time was a lot. That was 35 years back, at least, So it was a lot, 300, 500 rupees. I left and I came, and I'm standing in Radha Ras Bihari temple. One lady came to me. She told me, you used to come to our shop. I'm looking at her, I can't remember. I don't know. Say, you used to come to our shop. And you know what she told me? I recognize you by your foot. I'm looking. Who will recognize me by my foot? You understand what I'm saying? You think people are not seeing you or interested. All right? When you look at somebody, you look at their face, right? You don't look at their foot. So what is it about my foot? So what Lakshan is there? I'm just saying, this is how, I can tell you story after story, this going door to door, collecting advertisements in companies, in shops, working with people. I was doing all magazine. I went to Mauritius. How will I remember who is that journalist? Who is this? This man came towards me. You used to come to our printing press. You were doing this. I can't remember him at all. He came to me straight and recognized. People don't forget you. If you give them Krishna consciousness, they don't forget you. All right. So this is what Prabhupada is discussing here. So this Bharata Bhumite Haila Manusha Janmayar Janma Sartha Kari Kara Para Upakar. So don't think that, especially in Bombay, people, they stay for some time, then they disappear, right? They move off. It's like a mobile city, this one, you know. In the beginning, I couldn't figure out what's going on here. People they never live in Bombay. All the time they're out. Couldn't go to my native place. I'm going here and there. What is this? I realized that I also is from abroad. I'm also moving. They're also moving, so we are adjusted, as they say. Right? We adjust our classes, we adjust everything. All right, so this is about Bhakti Vriksha. You understood what to do? Go door to door, make friends, give prasadam, give a book, give whatever. Make friends with them. After 1 year, you start your five-member program. Don't worry. They will never forget you even if they move out. So when that fizzles out, you again take your other 5 people. Because what you have invested, I just gave you the example, right? They never forgot. I forgot them. They didn't forget. The most unlikely people. Text 11. Om Namo Bhagavate Upashama Paratanatmyaya Namo Kinchana Vittaya Rishi Rishabhaya Nara Narayanaya Paramahamsa Paramaguruve Atma Ramadhipataye Namo Nama Iti. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto Narayana, the best of all saintly persons, the supreme person of Godhead. He is the most self-controlled and self-realized. He is free from false prestige, and he is the asset of persons who have no material possessions. He is the spiritual master of all Paramahamsas, who are the most exalted human beings, and he is the master of the self-realized. Let me offer my repeated obeisances unto his lotus feet. So we have to remember, among human beings also, we are not all equal. All right? Narottama, here, Narottama is being described, the topmost of human beings. So Narayan, they came to teach us how to become Nara Uttama, Narottam, right? So we have to learn how to become Narottam. Otherwise, Prabhupada is saying we are becoming more and more people of Bharatvarsh are becoming Malechas and Yavanas. We adopt their style, right? Their lifestyle. It's terrible, you know. See, influence is what you call Maya, you know. It's invisible. Maya is invisible. That's the most horrible thing about it. You don't see it, but it penetrates. It enters, it penetrates, and when it has caught you and changed your habits, you don't know. Right? You don't know when it has changed. One day you pop up, Bharatvasi looks like Malecha and Yavana. Right? So Prabhupada is telling us how to be extremely careful. Extremely careful. Text 12. Gayati chedam kartasya sargadishu yo na badhyate na hanyate deha gatopi daihikahe drastu na dhrikyasya gune vidushyate tasmai namo shakta vivikta shakshine. I'm reading as much as I can because it's so complicated, you know. Just because otherwise, like reading double. When I get tired, then I will get you to read. No? Narada, the most powerful saintly sage, also worships Nar Narayan by chanting the following mantra. So who was okay, so Narad Muni, along with other inhabitants of Bharatvarsh, they had chanted this one mantra. Om Namo Bhagavate Upasama Shilayo Paratat Nat Maya Ya Namo Kinchana Vitaya Rishabhaya Nara Narayanaya Paramahamsa Parama Guruve Atmaramadhipataye Namo Namo Iti. So on planet Earth, this is the mantra that we recite in worship of who? Nar Narayan, right? This is the mantra that we worship, we recite. And then Narad Muni is also reciting this mantra. The Supreme Person Godhead is the master of creation, maintenance, and annihilation of this visible cosmic manifestation. Yet he is completely free from false prestige. This is a super important point. Narayan creates this world and he's free from false prestige. Everybody is covered by this ahankar, right? I own something, I create something, my name should be posted on it, right? Although to the foolish he appears to have accepted a material body like us, he is unaffected by bodily tribulations like hunger, thirst, and fatigue. Although he is the witness who sees everything, his senses are unpolluted by the objects he sees. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto that unattached, pure witness of the world, the Supreme Soul, the Person Godhead. All right, I lost my voice.
Hare Krishna purport. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, is described as such Chit Anand Vigra, the body of eternity, transcendental bliss, and full knowledge. Now, in this verse, he is more fully described. Krishna is the creator of the entire cosmic manifestation, yet he is unattached to it. If we were to construct a very tall skyscraper, we would be very attached to it. But Krishna is so renounced that although he has created everything, he is not attached to anything. No badhyate, na badhyate. Furthermore, although Krishna has his transcendental form Sachidanand Vigra, he is not disturbed by the bodily necessities of life, which are called Dehika. For example, he is never hungry, thirsty, or fatigued. Na hanyate deha gato api dehika. Then again, since everything is Krishna's property, he sees everything and is present everywhere. But because his body is transcendental, he is above vision, the objects of vision, and the process of vision. When we see someone beautiful, we are attracted. The sight of a beautiful woman immediately attracts a man, and the sight of a man naturally attracts a woman. Krishna, however, is transcendental to all these faults. Although he is the seer of everything, he is not affected faulty vision,
He is not afflicted.
not afflicted with faulty vision, no dragya yashe guned vidushyate. Therefore, although he is a witness of and seer, he is aloof from all the affection for the activities he sees. He is always unattached and separate. He is only a witness.
So this verse is reminding me of Bhakti Vikas Maharaj, his series of classes on the Vishnu Sahasranam. Very interesting, Vishnu Sahasranam. Because very systematically all the names of Lord Vishnu is described. And he elaborates. When will you get this opportunity? He's made so much study. So all here we are just reading like summary. But this one purport will take me 1 hour, you know that? That's why I thought of it. For me to get into this purport, straight 1 hour. So because I know we want to continue, right? So we'll move on. But the main point is that Krishna creates, he gives it to us. Take. Do what you want. But Krishna will always remain the supervisor. Alright? He will always remain the supervisor and he will monitor our nefarious activities. Right? This is the only way by which, so this is what we call justice. Right? Even if by chance you lose your property, there is justice. Because there is the supervisor always keeping an eye, Adhyaksha, right? Adhyaksha is always there. So basically, Krishna is unattracted by this material world. He creates, he gives it to us, take. And make it what we are making it now, right? So we read somewhere, Prabhupada said, in one moment the devas can come and blow off all the pollution. In one moment. Whatever mess we have created, in one moment they just can throw, the cleansing agent, but they are not doing it. Right? They're not interested to do it. Why?
Because you are messy, you clean.
Because we are demoniac. Right? Yeah. So when we become divine, right? When we become divine, when we live and we let others live, right? When we are ready to share. And the best of all sharing is what?
Sharing this knowledge.
Yes, very good. All of you have understood. Right? Bhakti Vriksha program, okay? 5 in everybody's house. 5 members, all right?
Bless us, Mataji.
Huh?
Bless us, we can
I'm not blessing. Mahaprabhu is giving, instruction. Prabhupada is executing, and I just said Jayapataka Maharaj propagated it. Set up the system. And when it's not working, again they are giving the tips. How to make it work. Okay, let's do one last. Idam hi yogeshwara yoga naipunam hiranya garbho bhagavan jagadayat yat antakale tvai nirgune mano bhaktya dadhuito jita dushkale varaha. O my Lord, master of all mystic yoga, this is the explanation of the yogic process spoken by Lord Brahma, Hiranyagarbha, who is self-realized. At the time of death, all yogis give up the material body with full detachment simply by placing their minds at your lotus feet. That is the perfection of yoga. Okay, now we are a bunch of women sitting here, okay? Do you want to be yogis or not? All right? You want to be yogis, right? You're not excluded. Mahaprabhu's movement, his Sankirtan movement, he didn't exclude anybody, right? So don't forget this instruction here, that at the time of death, all yogis give up the material body with full detachment. How? by placing their minds at your lotus feet. That is the perfection of yoga. Chapter 5 of Bhagavad Gita describes this yogi who has given up the external activities. He goes internal. Remember this? Characteristics of the self-realized soul. So it described that this yogi, and that's applying to our Guru Maharajas also, those who are becoming older and older, don't misunderstand them. They are closing off the bodily workings. Alright, so externally they look like Rishabdev, Lord Rishabdev, right? Or Jad Bharat, right? They look like this. But actually they've removed from the external activities. They are doing this. Their mind is now focused on the lotus feet of the Lord. Now just read this purport now. Srila Madhvacharya said, Yasya samyak bhagavati jnanam bhaktis tathaiva cha nischintastasya mokshasya sarva papa krito pitu. For one who very seriously practices devotional service during what? Is it time pass? No, right? Not touch and go, touch and go. What is this? If you are to be real yogis, it has to be done with great seriousness. Alright, this is what we read earlier. So, for one who very seriously practices devotional service during his lifetime, meaning it takes time. Don't think today, tomorrow I will do. I don't have time now. Once you step in, make the best of whatever time been given to you, right? In order, so for one who very seriously practices devotional service during his lifetime, in order to understand the constitutional position of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Which verse can you quote from Bhagavad Gita? Liberation from this material world is guaranteed. Which verse can you quote from Bhagavad Gita? Janma? Yes. Evam yo veti tatvataha. Then what happened? Yes, so this is the same verse here. Right? So, how are we going to know about the constitutional position of the Supreme Person of Godhead? By seriously practicing devotional. See, you have to remember Bhagavad Gita, Krishna speaking fast. One shloka, he's saying everything. Alright? Synopsis. Right? Fast. No time, battle has to start and Arjuna's sulking. Right? I'm not going to do. Right? So Krishna just gave one patafat, let me tell everything. Right? So what did he say? Janma karma chame divyam evam yo veti tattvataha. Right? Who knows me, my appearance and my activities in truth? The constitutional position of the Supreme Lord. Liberation chaktva deham punarjanma naiti vivam. So Arjuna. Liberation from this material world is guaranteed, even if he has previously been addicted to sinful habits. Krishna's kripa. Whatever we may have done in our previous times. Then Prabhupada quotes another verse. Apichet sudaracharo bhajate mam ananya bhak sadhur eva hi mantavya samyak vavasito hi saha. Even if one commits the most abominable actions, if he is engaged in devotional service, He's to be considered saintly because he's properly situated. All right. So even if there are some flaws in our practice, but if we are focused on the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord, Krishna will take us. All right? Prabhupada is saying the only purpose of life. Okay? How many purposes of life do we have?
One purpose.
Sure? Are you sure? Okay. Ekeha Kuru Nandana, right? Ekeha Kuru Nandana. Ekeha, right? Yavasayatmika Buddhir. Ekeha Kuru Nandana. This Buddhir, right, has to be fixed. Remember, there was that bird, right? And Dronacharya asked, show the eye, right? Show the eye of the bird. You want to enter a hole, a hole through the covering of this material universe that's invisible to everybody, which is visible only to that person who is going back home, back to Godhead. How focused you have to be. All right? No time pass. Right? At some age, whatever time, even if my child is 10-year, 15-year-old, when my time is up, all right, I need to have the intelligence to know when my time is up. Prabhupada's son, daughters were not married. All right? They were not married. He has completed his duties, age of 54. He completed his duties. There were too much hoo-ha going on in the house. He's trying to do his duty. No, not this, not that. He just dumped them, okay? He dumped, and what did he do? He came to work for us, right? He left. He came to work for us. So the only purpose of life is to be fully absorbed in thoughts of Krishna and his own pastime activities and qualities. If one is able to think of Krishna in this way, 24 hours a day, he's already liberated. Swarupena vyavastitihi. He has achieved his swarup. What is his swarup?
Krishna Nitya.
Yes, Krishna Nitya. That's meaning his only desire is to serve Krishna according to his wish, not according to I want and then I offer the fruits to Krishna. Karma arpanam, no. According to the wish of the Lord. This is liberation. Whereas materialists are absorbed in material thoughts and activities, devotees on the contrary are always absorbed in thoughts of Krishna and Krishna's activities. Therefore, they are always on the platform of liberation. All right? One has to think of Krishna with full absorption at the time of death. Then he will certainly return home back to Godhead without a doubt. Without a doubt. Okay? Masuchaha. All right? Do not fear. 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 Without no doubt. Without doubt. English and Sanskrit. Malaysia language and Sanskrit. But see, this Vedic literature is such that the language doesn't matter. The meaning is what matters. All right? The meaning is what matters. It's not that unless everything is spoken in Sanskrit, then you will enter. Right? Then I already described there is a pathway, right? A pinhole, which is invisible to our eyes. But the Vishnu Dut, they come to that pinhole, and they take that Atma which is invisible to all, right? And the Atma goes back home, back to Godhead. All right, such a nice. And where is all this happening? My dear ladies, yeah, Bharat Varsh. We haven't heard this description anywhere, right? All the Varshas we have covered. Only in Bharat Varsha. So actually, Bhakti Charu Swami, he explained to us. He said that if you want to go out of a building, if you want to go out of a building, how will you go out?
Through the door, gate.
Which gate?
The exit gate, the main gate.
You want to go out of a building, you live on the 30th floor.
From the ground floor.
Yeah. You have to come to the down, okay? You have to come to the ground floor. Bharat Varsh is the ground floor. Alright? Bharat Varsh is the ground floor. Not only is it a ground floor, but that has to be what? There has to be an exit. Yeah. There has to be an exit. What if you don't see the exit? You're looking everywhere. Where's the exit? Why? Because Guru has to show you the exit point. You know how you go on looking, where's the exit, right? You are in a mall or you're at the airport, you don't know where's the exit. You can roam around. It's a ground floor. You can't exit, right? You need all the arrows, the directions to know where is the exit point. So taking birth in Bharat Varsh is not sufficient. All right?
It's a great opportunity, but not sufficient.
Yes, great opportunity, but not sufficient, because we can go on roaming around. We read somewhere, no? Oh yeah, is it which? Oh, my page turned on this. My page turned on it. So before, I don't think we're on that shloka, but let me read it since my page turned. Okay. So what does it say about Bharat Varsh? The people who take birth in this tract of land are divided according to the qualities of material nature. The modes of goodness, sattvagun, passion, rajogun, and ignorance, tamogun. Some of them are born as exalted personalities. Some are ordinary human beings, and some are extremely abominable. For in Bharat Varsh, one takes birth exactly according to one's past karma. If one's position is ascertained by a bona fide spiritual master, one is properly trained to engage in the service of Lord Vishnu according to the four social divisions: Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra, and the four spiritual divisions: Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, and Sannyas. One's life becomes perfect, right? So if my page just turned and I saw it, so I'm reading it. So meaning only taking birth in Bharat Varsh, you can take birth as ordinary human beings, you can take birth as abominable people, or you can take birth as exalted Paramahamsas. 3 types of birth. So who will go out according to you? The Paramahamsa. So everyone here is a candidate to become Paramahams. All right? And how we become what's the meaning of Paramahams?
The one who can distinguish between water and milk. The swine.
Yeah.
So you need to be so qualified that you can have the knowledge as well as the
Which knowledge?
The spiritual.
You should be able to distinguish between matter and spirit. You should be able to know what is material, what is spiritual. You should not mistake the material to be spiritual and the spiritual to be material. This is a Paramahams. Only that personality is able to come out. It's a very tight route. Door is extremely narrow, and you have to fit in with your spiritual body. Alright.
Only one person can go in.
Alright. My God, so interesting. Huh? Anyway, so this is we are reading Prabhupada's Bhagavatam, right? And I'm repeating what I have learned from my Guru Maharaj. All right, everything I learned from him and many other Shiksha Gurus. I keep quoting, right? Say, if you don't listen to classes, right? You won't learn anything. We are sitting and reading for 1 hour, 1.5 hours once a week. Sometimes we miss also, right? How much can you learn, right? Nityam Bhagavad Sevaya. Constantly we should listen to all the devotees who are teaching. Alright? Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Hari Bol. 1 hour, 1.5 hours exact.